welcome everyone. I can't believe we are live. I can't believe this day is here. Happy Saturday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My first ever live webinar with coaching by Osa. My name is Osayamen Bartholomew. I will say a little bit more about myself later on, but just wanted to say thank you. This is my first time, so please bear with me. I'm so excited that you are joining us in this journey. Before we get started, I always love to start with an icebreaker, and I did let you guys know in advance to make sure you have your pen and paper or your device because you are going to be taking notes. The information is not only for you to learn, but for you to go back and look and review. So, first icebreaker, I want you to write down 5 things that you are grateful for. And secondly, I want you to write down 5 things that you want to see happen in 2021. So go ahead, let's get started on that. And while you are working on that, if you want to share in the chats, whether you're joining us via Facebook or joining us on YouTube, feel free to share. Share them in the comments so people can see. And I truly believe that when you write things down, then things will manifest themselves and you'll see it for yourself that this is what you want. So go ahead and do that and I will get started. I do have my stuff printed, so I will be looking down, but I'm still here with you. So we are on our second Saturday of the year and things are winding down for 2020. During this time, many of us start to reflect on how the year has been. And for many of us, it has been a combination of hardships, but also blessings. It has been a combination of tests, but also lessons. With this global pandemic, there have been many changes and uncertainties, but it's also a time to trust God and to be still. The one root word that I'm sure many of us can say defines what we all have been going through for these past few months and even just the whole year is fear. Fear, fear. But today, I want you to look at fear in a different light. The Hebrew meaning of fear is to tremble for joy. Tremble for joy. In other words, it means to do it afraid, right? And listen, if you have never dealt with fear in your life, then this is not for you. If you have never dealt with failed relationships and heartache, and sometimes the fear of starting over, then guess what? This webinar is not for you. If you have never dealt with unfairness or questioned the decisions that you've made, then it's not for you. Lastly, if you have never dealt with self esteem issues, depression, insecurities, or even questioning God, then, honey, this is not for you. But if you are ready to tremble with joy while igniting your faith to believe the unimaginable, if you are ready to take authority over your relationships, over your money, your career, your health, and your self worth, then you, my dear, are in the right place. Galatians 6:9 says, let us not grow weary in well doing, for in due time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. So, a little bit about me for anyone that doesn't know. I am the daughter of Benson and Mercedes Asemota. I am the proud wife of Ronald Bartholomew. I am the mother to Chad, Imawi, and Adana. I am a sister, a friend, a relative, and I'm also a mix of many cultures that I'm proud of. I'm a product of Nigeria, the Dominican Republic, and the British Virgin Islands. I was born in the Bronx, with the accent for my bronze people. Grew up in Lagos, Nigeria for several years, and then we relocated in the 90s and grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Went to elementary school, high school in Brooklyn, and then for college, I went to the first and the best. Don't debate me. Historically Black college and university, Lincoln University in Pennsylvania. And then also I was blessed to also attend Temple University in Philly. I now reside in Queens with my family. My family has always instilled education to us, and I've always had a love for education, for entertainment, and for empowerment. I believe in using your gifts, which is why I started the Gift Agency, a talent and service management company about 15 years ago. I believe that God gives all of us gifts, and what we do with our gifts while we're here on this earth is our gift back to the Creator. I believe in encouraging others. I believe that as a man or woman think it in their heart, so is he. Speaking of that, well-known book that I'm always talking about to my friends and family is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. And that book changed my life over 10 years ago because it showed me that if you can control the cause, then you can also control the effect. The book showed me that we have the power to design and mold our lives. And what's amazing about this book is that it was written in 1903, which is over 100 years ago. But the principles are timeless because what? We are makers of ourselves, right? Now, through my coaching services, Coaching by Osa, my goal is to help you to change the way you see yourself and transform your mindset to live the life you love. So I'm targeting high performers. And when I say high performers, I'm talking about you are your best at the work that you do, at the job. You are always there for your family, for whatever they need, right? You are that person that everyone can depend on. You are a cheerleader. You are a high performer. But who's leading and who's cheerleading for you? Are you a high performer for yourself? If not, then let me help you. Let these women help you that are here today. So before we start, I am so honored to have my sister, Ekiuwa, Asemota, join me in affirming this space. Ekiuwa Asemota is a dance teaching artist and owner of Eki's Famous LLC, a fashion and performing arts company that is renowned, celebrated, and inspiring. She started her career early in the arts and received her bachelor's degree in fine arts and a minor in dance at Hofstra University. In 2015, she founded Your Queens Incorporated, the first 501c3 entertainment company bringing historic queens and kings of ancient African history to life through storytelling, song, and dance. Eki has been applauded for her work with Eki's Famous and Your Queens through various media outlets, including Essence, Elle Magazine, Hot 97, The Root, and CBS. Speaking of media, you can also catch Eki on the radio every Friday night on New York City's WBLS, yes, historic WBLS, as she serves as a co-host on Afro Flavor Radio. Get your Afro beat on Fridays with DJ John Quick. Eki is also a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated and a 2015 recipient of the George M. Estabrook Distinguished Service Award at her alma mater, Hofstra University. She continues to grow as an artist by teaching, performing, speaking, and designing both nationally and globally. So please, 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 let's welcome Eki Asemota.
Money is coming to me. Money is coming to me. Money keeps coming to me. Money is coming to me. Money is coming to me. Money keeps coming to me. Money is coming to me. Money keeps coming to me. coming to me. I can just feel it.
Osa, I love you. So proud of you. Let's go on this Saturday. More afternoon. It's 12 o'clock on December 12th, 2 weeks in. What's going on, beautiful people? So honored, so proud of you, Osa, for this platform. I'm already getting my life from that message that you sent already. Beautiful people, if you are on here, share this out. Share this out. Your family and friends need to get this end of the year message of 5 commitment to a better you. And I'm so excited, so honored and happy to open this up with a powerful affirmation. So wherever you are, in the car, at home, I just want you all to repeat after me. We are here for 5 commitment to a better you. And we're going to talk about affirmations dealing with love, dealing with money, dealing with career, dealing with health, and dealing with yourself. Absolutely. So I want you all at home to repeat after me. Are y'all ready? Let's go. Let's go. I am love. I am not my past. I will let go. I love myself. I love you with all my heart. All right, let's go into money. I am wealthy. Because sometimes we get afraid of money and we think like, oh, no, do you know that you can have whatever you want in life? You deserve it. Black men, Black women, Black children, people of color, everyone around the world. There is enough for all of us. So again, I am wealthy. I am blessed. I am crowned with the goodness, and my path is full of abundance. I'm going to say that again. I am crowned with goodness, and my path is full of abundance. I am a millionaire. Affirm it. Let's try that again. We're going to say billionaire. I am a billionaire. I feel it. I feel y'all saying it. Let's go. I am ready for the overflow. Now we're going to shift to career. I have purpose. I am gifted. I am so powerful. Now we're going to shift to health. Very good. I am mentally, physically, and emotionally healthy. Yes. I take care of my mind, my body, and my soul. And last but not least, we're going to shift to self. And Osa started off with the word fear. Okay, because sometimes you got to do things afraid to get to that next level. So I, affirm it with me, am fearless. I am divine. I will never give up. And last but not least, I am a queen. I am a king. I am a prince. I am a princess. Yes. I am royalty. And thank you so much. You guys enjoy the rest. We have an amazing panel here for you all. It's going to be beautiful. I love you all. I love you, Osa. Hey, hey, hey.
That was so wonderful. I mean, the power of affirmations, the power of speaking life to yourself. So, funny thing, the song that was playing before Eki came on, "Money Is Coming to Me," that's like our song. Sometimes we're like in the car or just talking, and then her phone. I think that's your ringer, if I can't recall.
Yes, it is.
Is that
It's my ringer.
Yeah. So
My
sometimes
alarm.
and your alarm. So when it comes on, as soon as you hear, money is coming in me. Hey, money is coming in me. And it's so wonderful. Like it just, and it's not, it shouldn't just be focused on money, of course, but just believe in whatever it is that you want to come into your life.
Yeah.
Like, speak it.
You could say love is coming to me. Abundance is coming to me. Good health is coming to me. My future husband is coming to me. All of it.
Put it out there. Put it out there. It's coming to you. It's coming to you because you have to believe it, right? Eki, do you mind posting the name of that song for anyone that wants to hear
I got
it?
you. Got you.
I just love that song. So let's continue on. So let's talk about the 5 commitments. So we have made it to the end of the year, and now it's time to envision a better 2021. So let me tell you why I started the 5 commitments. So originally, every year I have a vision board party with my friends. I either work on a vision board myself, or we'll gather together and work on a vision board. So I thought maybe, let's maybe do a vision board virtual party. And my coach, she kind of pushed me and was like, well, a lot of people do vision boards, try to do something else. So I thought to myself, and I said, one thing that I realized about vision boards is that, you get all these photos, you cut out all the magazine clips and you put them there and it looks good, right? But if your mindset is not ready to receive what you've put on that vision board, then it's just glossy pictures, right? So I realized that we have to work on being committed to ourselves first, being committed to believing that what we put down on that vision board can happen. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it'll happen in a year or 2 years. Sometimes it could take 10 years, but it's you believing it and trusting it and knowing that it will come. So we have to do the work first with us. We have to be committed to us first. And that's why the 5 commitments was born. So the end of the year means a time to start planning for your vision board, but how do we create one that aligns with the vision that we have for ourselves? I created the 5 commitments as a prep for your mind, an opportunity for you to hold yourself accountable. Like I said earlier, we can collect all the pretty glossy pictures, the house with the picket fence, the nice car, the handsome man or the beautiful woman that knows the Lord, knows how to cook, clean, tells you how wonderful you are daily, all that money in your bank account. But before we get there, we have to get at the root of several things. If it's a new relationship that you're going after, let's get at the root of why that last relationship didn't work. If it's about saving money, then let's get at the root of the spending habits that you promised to curb at the beginning of 2020. If it's working on your health and your body and losing weight, then let's talk about your relationship with food and how it's affecting your ability to reach your fitness goals. Let's also talk about self-care and why you're constantly putting everyone else before yourself. Yep, we're going there. I've been there. So there is a popular saying that you become the average of the 5 people you are around the most. And today you are in good company with 5 phenomenal ladies. Today, I invite you to join me in a live conversation with some of my dearest sisters, my girls, my friends, as we give you tips on how to change the way you see yourself and transform your mindset to live the life that you were created to live. So, in 10 to 20-minute intervals, we will help you to design the roadmap. Get that pen and paper ready. That leads exactly to where you want to go by taking authority over the 5 most important pillars in your life: your money and your finance, relationships, health, self-care, and career. You are joined today by other like-minded individuals who are ready to get a jump start on how to achieve their short and long-term goals, navigate uncharted territories, and answer all of the unknown questions that you may have regarding different areas of your life. So once our speakers have done their presentations, we will return for a Q&A session. We will have real, raw conversations about the 5 commitments. And you will also have a chance to get your questions answered as well. So let's buckle up. So commitment number 1 is better career shift. How to identify and effectively use your talents and gifts to accomplish your career goals. And I am so proud to have Nogle Udevbulu, Wall Street executive and certified women's life coach. Nogie is a multi-passionate woman who loves encouraging and coaching women to live their best life and fulfill their purpose. She is the founder and lead coach of NUU Coaching LLC, a coaching company focused on helping professional women improve and maximize their career experiences. As a leader with almost 2 decades on Wall Street, she has served in leadership roles both in financial services industry and several professional networks, including the Women's Leadership Network and the Black Professional Network. She sits on the board of Ford Foundation, the Advisory Council of Bottom Line, and is a member of the FTSE America's Index Committee. Nogie was named in 2013 as a Rising Star finalist for the Bonds Women's Club Association and recognized in 2014 as Tweego's Top 40 Under 40. In 2018, Nogie was a fellow of the 92Y Women in Fellowship program geared for women a level below C-suite. She was awarded the 2020 Her Wall Street Award and recognized for being a woman of color, breaking glass ceilings in the financial services industry. Nogie has an MBA in General Management from the Darden School of Business at the University of Virginia and is a certified life coach. Nogie resides in New York with her husband and her 2 wonderful children. So, audience, let's get ready to hear from Nogle Udevbulu.
Wow. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. And thank you for joining us on the 5 commitments. Osa, I love you. Eki, I love those affirmations because I said it to myself. I am a queen. I have purples. And like Osa rightly said, there's nothing as wonderful as having a clear goal or purpose of what you're going to do in 2021 in light of this unprecedented year of 2020. So we're talking about career, making that shift, making that money, making that power, getting that promotion, just doing something that you were called to do. And that is my greatest desire for all women, particularly women of color, to shine the way you ought to shine, to show forth your magic, for everyone to see that you are a necessary part of this world's existence. And so I am super happy to share a little bit about what things to think about, what questions to answer as you prepare your vision board, as you prepare your goals and your dreams for 2021. I think Osa did a fantastic job in describing me. What Osa didn't tell you is that she's my big sister and she's kept my head straight because, sometimes money can get to us, right? So she's a leveler. She's done so much for me, and I'm super, super proud of all the great things she has done. Now, when we talk about shift, we're not talking 180, right? A shift is a tiny movement in position from one place to another, a small shift. And when you add those shifts, then you see the big change, but you have to start with a small shift. Often, very often, we get a lot of people, especially a lot of women in corporate America, just frustrated. I've been there. I know how it feels like. Frustrated. No one is listening to you. No one is hearing you. No one is seeing the things that you're offering. And then, we have to, have a wig on. We have to have our hair a certain way. We are probably the breadwinners in our homes. It's just so much going on. But then you can do more. You can exceed what you're doing. You can do better. I feel you. And so there are a couple of things that I use, like a 5-step recipe that I use in my coaching program, just to get the mind set in the right way to then cause you to take action. So number one, we always do this reflection. We take a step and just reflect on everything we've done so far in our career. What was your highest of highs in your career? And what was your lowest of lows? These are questions. Take them down. Number one, we're reflecting, right? What was your highest of highs? I remember one of my highest of highs was when I had like a supervisor that quit suddenly. And all of a sudden, I had to step up. It was either I stepped up or they hire someone else to be my supervisor. So that was my opportunity to show that I have learned a lot on the job. So I took it and I ran. I said, I can do this. I have what it takes. And I showed that we doubled revenue in the last 6 months of the year because I was willing to come out of my comfort zone and just show them what I'm capable of. That was my highest of highs. Now, my lowest of lows was being passed on a promotion for no reason whatsoever. Man, I just felt like the world was coming down on me. Like, seriously, why me, right? But I could have spent more time questioning why me, or spend more time asking the questions, what can I do so this doesn't happen again? Right? So there are always highs and lows. And the thing about highs and lows are sometimes it's not the job. Sometimes it could be other things outside of the job that is affecting you. So you could have a low period and you might be having marriage issues. You could have a low period and you're trying to have a baby and all fertility things are not working. You could have a low period and there's someone who's sick at home, but you're taking it out on the job. Always good to reflect. What was that high and what was that low? You have to reflect in order for you to move forward. Now, the moment you've recognized your highs and your lows, the next question is, in your highs, what was that skill set that got you to wake up in the morning? What made you get up and want to do it? For me, my skill set was analysis. I love solving problems. Give me numbers. I would talk about numbers in my sleep. I love it, right? So the opportunity to show how good I am in numbers kept me going. Always good to figure out what was it at that time of your high, like what was it that really kept you going? Was it the fact that you were talking to people? That's a skill set. Not everybody has that. Was it the fact that you were the person that everyone will come to help solve their problem? Was it the fact that you were good at organizing conferences and events for your group? That's a skill set. Not everybody has that. Always good to reflect. Then we go to step 2, which is taking the strength test. Always good to know what your strengths are. You may think that your strength is talking to people. And then when you take the strength test, actually your strength is just connecting people, not talking, but just finding the right fit to solve the problem. You may realize that your strength is being a catalyst, like challenging the status quo. You may realize that your strength is coaching. You're actually very good at helping other people become who they're supposed to be, right? All these are ways of figuring out your purpose. You heard Eki said, I have a purpose. our career is really all about our purpose, because someone is crying out there because you're not fulfilling their need. Your purpose is someone else's need. So always remember that. So the next step is to do that strength test, figure out what your strengths are, and then look at what you're doing right now and seeing how much of what you're doing is leveraging your strength. So critical, so critical. How much of what you're doing today is leveraging the strength that you have, right? Always very helpful, because then that allows you to know what shift you need to make. What shift you need to make. You see the journey? First you reflect, then you take the test, the strength test, then you compare. Okay, these are my strengths. Now, the job that I have or the business that I'm running, how much of that is reflecting the strength that I have? And if you notice there's a gap, that's the first revelation. Congratulations. You notice there's something you need to do, something you need to fix. Time to get to action. Now, the third step is the comfort zone versus stretch. There is no change that doesn't require discomfort. We could take it to the Bible too. There is no change. I repeat, there is no change that does not require discomfort. The people of Israel, when they left Egypt, they went through the wilderness. They had to go through a transformation before getting to their promised land. You will not be able to take on that job if you're not ready for that job. You will not be able to take on that promotion if you're not mentally ready for that promotion. This is where we really focus on your stretch versus comfort zone. Nobody likes to be stretched. Everybody wants to be in their comfort zone, right? You like to go into an office where everybody knows your name. You know where where the water cooler is, you know where the pantry is. I mean, security officer knows your name. Everybody knows your name. Like you're in your zone. You know your coffee shop when you walk in the morning, you know where you grab your lunch. Like everything is set for you, but you know you're bored on that job. So guess what? You have to shift. You have to get uncomfortable. Because if you want more money, if you want more recognition, more responsibility, and if you want that access that for your kids, you have to get uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable doesn't mean that it's going to be for a long time. It's going to be necessary so you can make that shift. So this is where you have to ask yourself that question. Do you believe you're worth that promotion? Do you believe you're worth that job? That new career, that switch? Are you ready for it? Are you worth it? If not, then okay, close this book. You know, there's no need to have a conversation. But if you are ready, then this is what you have to do. Look at those gaps, those strengths that you have. How much of those strengths are you using right now in your job? For that promotion, for that job that you're looking for, how much of your strength is reflected in that job? What do you need to do to help you close that gap? You start writing it down. Do you need to go to school? Do you need to network with somebody? Like I had a coachee that she really was the go-to person in her office, like anything she could do, but she was bored. And what she realized was that no one else was able to do what she could do. And I said, okay, if you want to make bank manager, you have to kind of clone yourself. Who in your office right now is able to do the things you do? Who in your office has the ability? You need to start training them so that when that bank manager promotion shows up, you're ready. You're not stuck being the only person that could do your job. Now you have others who could do it, so you can take on a higher job. That's closing the gap. That's you recognizing that it's okay to share. You're not going to lose your job if you show other people how to do it. You're actually giving yourself the opportunity to get more. This is the principle of giving in your career. You want to advance in your career, you have to learn to share. So if you're skilled somewhere, turn around, teach somebody else, because as you're given, something is going to come to you. This is it. There's a principle here. Please hear me out. It works. It works. It works. If you want to move higher, you have to learn to give. right? Otherwise, you'll be stuck doing the same thing, and then you're wondering why you're not going anywhere. Well, you're the only one that knows how to do it, and until someone else can, they really can't move you, right? A lot of us get stuck in that situation. Don't let that be your story in 2021. So that's how you get out of your comfort zone, right? You start to realize what you need to make that shift, right? Is it to go to school? Is it to do Toastmasters so your speaking is better? Is it to get a coach to help you? Like you need to get yourself out of your comfort zone. So my coaching program ran for 7 weeks. That was getting out of your comfort zone. You gave up some time on your weekend so you could see a shift. And I've been seeing shift on my coaches. It's amazing. But that's what you do. You make that commitment. You get uncomfortable to become comfortable at the higher level. So that's step number 3. Okay. So what did we say? Number 1, you reflect. Number 2, you figure out what your strengths are. Number 3, you really have that true conversation with yourself to say, hey, if I want to make this move in my career, am I ready to make the commitment required? Am I ready to spend that money to make that shift? Am I ready to teach others so that more can come to me? Those are real questions that only you can answer and only you can handle, right? Number 4, this is where we start to plan and strategize. This is where you start thinking, okay, who's going to be my accountability partner? Who's going to call me up and remind me of the things I said I was going to do? So I'll tell you right now, in my personal board of directors, Osa is one of them. She will call me and remind me, hey, you said you were going to do that podcast. Have you done it yet? Right? Hey, you said you were going to do that conference. Have you done it yet? You need to start figuring out who your personal board of directors are. It's part of your planning. The ones that will call you and remind you of what you need to do because they know you really want that move in your career. You want more money. You want that promotion. You want that influence. Yes, you need those folks, right? In the planning and the strategizing, it's also figuring out who you need to talk to. So number 1, if you want, for example, if you want promotion on the job, right? First of all, you need to figure out what requirements are needed for that promotion, right? So that's a strategy. So you write it down. Number 1, I need to figure out what is required to get promoted. Do I need to talk to my manager? Do I need to talk to HR? Do I need to talk to a supervisor? Write it down and make sure that that is your action plan. All these little things, these little actions, they're all shifts, right? So that coachee, for example, wanted to make bank manager, didn't even know that all she needed to do was just schedule a meeting with the area manager and just ask. You know, she scheduled the meeting and the manager said, you know what? We're going to come up with a plan on how to make you bank manager. And then before she left the room, he said, I've been waiting for you to ask. Bingo. If you don't ask, no one is giving it to you. Do you now understand why the planning and the strategy is critical? If you don't ask, it's not coming, right? The Bible says, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. Action, 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 right? You have to take action for you to receive. If you're waiting for it to just happen to you, sometimes it does. That's great. But guess what? Not all the time. And you're letting life manage your career instead of managing your career for life. You see the difference? You're letting life manage your career instead of you managing your career for life, right? So you want to be able to say, hey, I wanted to expand more on being a manager. And so these were the steps I took. And the beautiful thing about the law of attraction is what you desire will come to you. It would give you, it will propel that energy and want you to move towards that direction. All of a sudden, people will want to help you, but it starts with you, right? And then the final thing, take action. Just do it. Don't wait. Just do it. Like seriously, just do it. Like what are you waiting for? You got through 2020. Just go do it in 2021. You are alive in 2020. There's no excuse for you not to take action in 2021. You got to see this Saturday in 2020, then please go into 2021 like the star that you are, like the queen that you are, declaring your purpose and knowing that God is working it out for you. And that's how I wrap it up. I'm sure if you need more information, Osa will share it with you. I know you guys are going to crush it in 2021. And I speak the word of God over your life, that all things are working together for your good and you have everything for life and godliness. God bless you. Thank you. Osa.
I mean, if we did not need this at the end of the year, reflecting, working on your strengths, the strength test is what opened my eyes, and you had me take that strength test, and it was so interesting because when I told you the results, you were like, well, I've been talking about that for years. I've been saying that for years, and you pushed me. You pushed me to move forward, and I want to thank you for that. And you all will get Nogie's information. She is available for coaching services, so I encourage you to sign up for her coaching services so that your career and your life can shift.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Nogie. All righty. So we are going on to commitment number 2. Better money habits. Finances, family, and future planning. So I am so honored to have one of my closest friends join us today to talk about better money habits, Wendy Castro. Wendy is a finance director of Spring Studios, an integrated creative agency with production, state-of-the-art studios, and also home to prestigious events. She has over 20 years of experience in the private sector within finance, entertainment, and the licensing industries. She has a bachelor's in accounting from Monroe College. She is a proud Latina raised in the Bronx. She is the biological mother of one, the honorary godmother to so many, honorary 20 plus nieces, nephews, and godchildren, and also glamour to 4 beautiful boys. So, audience, please join me in welcoming Wendy Castro.
Hi guys, how are you? Happy Saturday. I'm really honored that Osa has chosen me to be one of the panelists on this great panel. I just heard Nogie and I was like, tell me more. So she's a tough act to follow, but I really appreciate everything that she mentioned, because a lot of the things that she did describe, which is to reflect the strength, commitment plan, and to strategize and to put everything into action. I mean, it's so true, especially for us women and women of color. You have to do work, obviously, more or rather harder than unfortunately the white people, to be honest with you. So you're Latina, you're Black, we're minorities, so we have to work just as hard. But when you're a woman, you have to work even harder to not only be taken seriously, but to be commended, like she said, in order for you to be seen and to be heard and for you to be promoted, you really do have to make sure that you work just as hard. And a lot of the time people work 9 to 6, I'm leaving at 6. A lot of the times that's not true for us. We do stay a lot longer. I know I do. So my days tend to be 10-hour a day, 12-hour a day, And that's just, that's just life for me right now. Anyway, that's just what I've had to do to be able to become this finance director and to be able to be, again, seen and heard and be part of that management and be part of that tier group. So having said that, I'm going to share my screen, and I hope that I'm not going to bore you guys, but I just want to give you, I think, at least for me, I'm more about visual than I am about just speaking on it. So when it comes to, budgeting, obviously, there are ways for you to have, like, spending. Everybody has, your own spending habits, and the key word is spending, right? So you have your funds that you have now earned. So how do I spend it? And a lot of people forget that, hey, there's going to be a tomorrow. So we also have to plan and save, for tomorrow, so that we can have that little nest, so that when we're older and we can't work because, basically physically you can't work as hard or as long of an hours that you're working now. So you might have to start dying it down by going into, I was working, like I said, 12 hours a day. Now I'm going to only have to get like probably a part-time job, because physically I won't be able to do those 12-hour shifts any longer. So you have to have that little nest, that cushion, which is basically your retirement fund, so that tomorrow you're not, stuck now, like looking at yourself like, okay, what happened? Like, where did all the money that I made, where did it go? So I'm going to share my screen really quickly with you guys, and just show you something that I had put together. Let's see if this works. So I'm hoping that you guys can see this. This is a little budget that I put together. And to be honest with you, this was something that I do. I'm not going to say monthly. I kind of like do it weekly, because my cost, they just change, right? And sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad. So the income, unfortunately, stays the same. And I say unfortunately because it doesn't grow unless you make it grow. Right? So if your income is $5,000 a month, and again, this income here, this is your net. This is your take home. This is not your gross, because gross looks great on paper, guys. But when it comes to what exactly am I taking home, a lot of the times you're like, that's it? Yeah, that's it. So reality check, that's all you're taking home, because Uncle Sam, even though you've never met him, his hands are in your pocket before you even make that first dollar, right? So here you go. So you have your total income, you have $5,000. And then, here comes your rent. It's either your rent or it's your mortgage, whatever it is. But obviously you need that roof over your head, right? You have the lights, because obviously without light, you don't have an internet. So let's get that light bill paid. You have your cell phones, because everybody lives on their cell phones and their smartphones and all these technologies, right? Cable, because for me, I need my Real Housewives. Like, I can't live without my housewives. Osa knows this. Don't call me on a Sunday night, because that's what I'm going to be watching. And then, obviously you have your monthly travels, whether it be the MTA, the trains, the buses. It could be gas, because now you're driving to work. It's your tolls, whatever it is. You need to make sure that you have that money set aside for that, because obviously without that, you're not getting to work, right? Grocery, unfortunately, has gone up. The prices in food has gone up. You want to make sure that you try and stick to a list. And I'm going to be the first one to say I'm not as good as creating a list, because a lot of the times I'll go in there and I'll say, okay, I'm only going into the grocery store and I'm only going to pick up 5 things. But then, darn it, here comes, the sales, right? And then you're like, well, I do need this. And a lot of the times, have these, people talking to you where, do you really need it? So, but it depends, right? Like, if that sale is a really good sale, you can't pass up on it, because now you can put that in your pantry, right? And then tomorrow you don't have to look for that. So, but try to stick to a grocery number in your mind for, like, on a monthly, that you try not to go over, right? Car payments, they are what they are, right? If you have a car and you're leasing it, that money's going to directly come out of your bank account. So that's coming out of there. And so is your insurance. Without a car insurance, you'll be in jail. So make sure you have your insurance, paid up. Credit cards, I'm just jotting down 3 credit cards. That could be a store card, that could be, your main card where you use it. A lot of people use their credit cards to go grocery shopping to earn some points, and then they'll use those points to basically be able to, pay down the credit card balances. And then you have, just another credit card where you don't really need that credit card, but darn it, they gave me, this great offer and I wanted to go get that little bag. And so you have that credit card, right? Then you have, we ladies and men too. Men have to go to the barber shop, right? Ladies, we go to our hair salons. We go and get our nails done. Now, because of COVID, in a way, it's kind of like helped me because I haven't been going to the hair salon and the nail salon as much. So basically, I'm putting more money into my savings. But yeah, a girl likes to look nice, not just for herself, but also, she wants to look cute in front of her friends. She wants to look cute, with a boyfriend or a significant other, whatever the case is. But you want to look good for you because I think, when you look cute, you kind of like, you kind of stand taller. I don't know. That's just something that I think of. But entertainment is something also that we need to make sure that we take care of ourselves. It can't just be all about work. Entertainment can just be going into, a brunch. It can be, going to a nice dinner with some friends. I mean, you work hard, you've earned it. I'm not saying that you're going to do this every week, guys, but when you can, take advantage of it. If you can get a babysitter, and Osa can get a babysitter and have them take care of my 3 great children, and then you can go off with your significant other, with your husband, and have a nice night just for the 2 of you. I think you guys have earned it because you work so hard to make sure that there's food on the table, that you have a roof over your head, that all of your overheads are paid, that you need to take care of yourself. So I always say you have to add entertainment into your budget. So on here, as you can see, I jotted down, here's your income minus all of your expenses. And then you have a little bit of something remaining, the remaining portion of it. Now you say, okay, I have $890. What am I going to do with that? Well, the first thing that you should do is think about savings. So make sure that you have something saved, that you put some money set aside, whether you have your direct deposit, take that money, directly out of your account and just put it into your savings account where you're not going to touch it. That's one way of saving. Definitely make sure that it's an amount that you can live without, because if you're gonna set yourself up and say, okay, I'm gonna save $1,000 every 2 weeks, which is obviously $2,000 a month. I don't know if I can do that, but if you can, great. If you can't, then again, make sure that you're being realistic. So yes, I can set aside $400 a month, and that's not going to bother me. And guess what? Don't even look at it. Don't touch it. And when you come and see 10 months later, wow, I got $4,000. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't look at that, that new purse. Don't look at that new game board. Just leave it there. It's going to help in the future. And trust me, especially when you have kids, that $4,000 looks like a lot of money, but when you have kids and they have to go get braces, or they have to go, to get some kind of a doctor's appointment or whatever the case is, it goes out the door, guys. You're looking at it like, what happened? Like, it took me 10 months to save this, but it went out the window in one shot. But that's what it is. But again, try to save as much as you can. Make sure that whatever money that you're saving, you're not touching. You don't need it. You don't go in there and save $400 and then, within the week, I just need $50. That's not saving. That's really not saving. And think about it this way. When I talk to my kids, and I say kids, like, young adults, or even just kids, like, I tell them, think of something that you really want, something that is a big ticketed item, not, a pair of shoes, not some sneakers, because trust me, as soon as you put them on, they will depreciate. Think about something that you really want, and put your mind to it, and, put the money set aside. Like I said, don't touch it. And the next thing you know, you have that money to be able to buy 1 or 2 of them, and to be honest with you, a lot of the time when you see that money is saved, you're going to be like, wow, I did that. So you just encourage yourself more and more to continue doing that. I'm not saying that, you don't want to go out and have fun with your friends. Great. But trust me, you're going to need savings. You don't want to keep going to your parents and asking them for loans. You don't want to keep, going into a credit card, which you have all these, high increased percentages and all this stuff. Like, save some money, guys. So the next thing that I wanted to go to, and if you take a look at the screen that I have here, your income versus your cost. So it becomes, percentage wise, just for this particular graph that or this spreadsheet that I put together, 67% of it went to cost, and those are your necessities. That's your rent, that's your car payment, that's your food. You know, all these things are your necessities, right? Then 16% of it is your discretionary. Discretionary meaning, you know, hey, I want to go out and I want to, you know, go to have to the diner with the girls, or I want to go get my nails done, my hair done, what have you. That's a discretionary. The 8% that I have down here is your savings. Now, normally what people say is that it should be a 50-30-20 rule. And that's, you know, that's something that a lot of people try. That's your goal, right? But unfortunately, you know, your necessities a lot of the times are, you know, more than 50% of what you're earning. It is what it is, you know. So definitely whatever you feel comfortable that you can save, definitely go ahead and save. I'm going to stop sharing because, or maybe I'll just keep it on. So just again, these are just small things that I put together for you guys to take a look and see. When it comes to your credit cards, again, I was touching a little bit on it. Credit card has been a big thing because especially now during COVID, a lot of people have either lost their jobs or a lot of people have, you know, had their wages, you know, cut down, which is sad, but it happens, right? So unfortunately, because of that, you know, you've been using your credit cards more and more. Just be mindful of your spending. You know, make sure again that when you go to the grocery store, try and only grab whatever you need. Don't go, you know, overboard with the spending and stuff like that. Because remember, whatever you purchase on that credit card, you have to purchase it today, but tomorrow you have to pay for it. And on top of that, you're going to have, you know, an interest rate on that credit card. So just to touch really quickly on the credit cards, when it comes to credit cards, make sure that again, don't overspend. Don't exhaust that credit card. Use it for your necessity, really, especially now. I don't think that we should be going out there, and that's just me purchasing like, you know, luxury and stuff like that. That great Louis Vuitton bag that I know I want, but guess what? Not gonna happen. Which is fine, you know. So to me, it's more important that I make sure that I have a roof over my head, that I have food on the table, and that my light is on. So that to me is a luxury. That's not even a necessity. You know, that's my bread and butter. That's what I'm working for. So I think we need to make sure that we stick onto that. When it comes to your credit cards, like I said, take a look at them on a monthly basis. Try and pay more than your minimum. You know, you call up your credit card companies and you tell them, hey, you know, this interest rate is really high. What can you do to bring down this interest rate for me? Unfortunately, the interest rate, when they bring it down, it doesn't reflect the your balance that you have currently, but it will reflect the future, you know, purchases that you have. So something is something. Also look into and ask if they have any, you know, balance transfers. Balance transfers, they're great, right? They help you. So if someone has a balance transfer, they'll give you 0%, you know, for the first 6 months. They'll obviously have a charge for that balance transfer, but a lot of the times that charge is a lot less than what your, let's say, 6 months worth of interest will be. So just do the math really quickly. Does it make sense to do that balance transfer? And if it does, great. Because for me, I focus more and it's easier for me to focus on one credit card than it is 3 and 4 and 5. It's just, you know, you're just juggling and it just drives me crazy juggling. And did I make this payment on time? And darn it, I missed this payment, whatever the case is. So try and see if you can, you know, get all of them together in one card and pay it down. And again, try and pay more than the minimum, because paying the minimum down is basically just you're basically leaving maybe $20 or $10 towards the principal, and the majority of that money is going towards the interest. You don't want that. You want to make sure that, you know, and set yourself a goal of, you know what, I'm going to take these payments and I'm going to divide it by 6. So within 6 months, I'll have this paid off. So, you know, focus on that. And obviously, you know, getting your credit cards paid is going to increase your credit score, which obviously credit score is great. Like anything over 600, 700, 800, whoa, you know, you can definitely go off and get yourself a great deal when you're ready to purchase that home, or you want to get that, you know, that new car that you want to get. Whatever the case is, obviously a higher credit score will help you get lower interest rate for whatever big ticketed, you know, purchases that you want to make. Secondly is savings. So savings, like I touched on it, you know, you want to take some funds and you want to save it into your bank account. But another big savings, and I've always spoken speaking this from the heart and from my experience, is look into your job and find out if your job have benefits such as a 401k. 401k plans are very necessary. Like, don't ever pass that up. No matter, how young you're, like, oh, you know what, I'm only 20, I'm in my early 20s, I don't really need to think about, savings. I don't need to think about, my retirement, because, that's not going to happen until another 40 to 60 years. Trust me, the sooner you start saving, and again, just save whatever you can. Don't listen to other people. Well, I'm saving, 10%, 20%. No, do what you can do. And if you can, increase it, like, test yourself out the very first time around and see, hey, I'm only going to put down, 5%. And it can be a percentage of your salary, and it can also be a set amount. But the very first time that you do it, don't go so hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, just go in there and put down maybe, a small amount. Can I do without that? Yeah, I didn't even feel it. So then, just do a little more and a little more, and then kind of like meet your medium where they're taking out these funds from your 401k plan, and it doesn't bother you. You can continue living life, and you don't need to, be going back in there and changing your percentage or changing the amount. You can live without it. Definitely look into, though, the 401k plans, because 401k plans, a lot of your employers will match. And a lot of the times what they'll do is they'll match, like they'll give you, hey, if you deposit 5% of your salary on a monthly basis, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to give you 2.5. So basically half of that amount that you've just contributed. That's free money, guys. Do not ever leave free money on the table and walk away. That is free money. So I'm all about the finances, but let me tell you, I do not walk away from free money. Okay, so what they do is they'll tell you, if you work for me for the next 5 years, I will give you this, let's say 2.5%. So what's going to happen is every year they're probably going to say, you know what, you've stayed with me for a year, so 20% of those funds are yours. Then another 20, then another 20. Here comes 5 years. Now 5 years nowadays is 20 years back in, 20 years ago, or what have you. So a lot of people tend to change jobs every 5 years, whatever the case is. But think about it. If you left this job 5 years later, guess what? 100% of the money that the company has given you goes with you. You get to keep it. And on top of that, remember that you also, because you're young, like you're saying, hey, I'm only 20, I don't need to. So then great. Go in there and make sure that your portfolio is aggressive, so that basically your returns are a lot better. Okay, so then that means that, at the end of the year, obviously I look at my, my 401k plan, I look at it periodically. I don't, live on it. I don't review it every day, because if so, then I would be driving myself crazy. So I just basically look at it on a monthly, or if I hear the news, I don't tend to keep looking at it, because, the gained or it went down. You can't, because you're just gonna, drive yourself crazy. So, but periodically, yes, look at it. Periodically, yes, do call your 401k provider and ask them, am I doing well? Take a look at the trend. Take a look and see how much money you're making, or if you're losing. And then with that, you talk to the advisors and see what they tell you, if you should start switching, or if you should start, whatever the case is, like, should I put more money abroad? Should I keep money domestically? Whatever the case is, but they will definitely guide you. And you can take a look and see where you started to where you are now. And trust me, where you are now is going to be way better than when you started, especially because you did start contributing this 401k. If you don't start contributing to this 401k, guys, tomorrow you're going to look at yourself and say, damn it, I have no money. Because realistically, whatever funds you save in the bank is going to be probably less than 1%. But when you look at, and you save your money in your 401k, trust me, you will see the returns. And a lot of the times you're like, I got that much money, I'm rich. You're not, but you're on your way there. So again, that's a way of savings. The other thing is, if you have children and you want to obviously save for your children's, future, you can look into a 529 plan. I did that for my child. I saved for her. And to be honest with you, I started with probably like $20, which is a very small amount. But you know what? Guess what? At the end of the day, I switched it over, because, like I said, as you switch jobs, you obviously you go for getting more money. Every time you switch job, guys, make sure you give yourself a bonus. Make sure you give yourself you increase your salaries, especially now that they can't ask you what your prior salaries were. So make sure that you give yourself a raise when you switch jobs, okay? And then make sure that whatever monies that you put aside, you set aside for your child 529 plan is going to be set for their college funds. Obviously, you can't touch it. They can't touch it until they're ready to go to school. But when that time comes, what they're going to do is, the younger your child is, obviously the risks are going to be higher, so that your returns are better. And then the closer your child gets to becoming that 17 years of age or 18 years of age, now they're going to college, then they're going to make sure that that they slow it down to make sure that you have the money there for your child. When when my daughter was ready to go to school, the amount of money, if I tell you right now, you're going to be like, what? And I'll be like, yup, I had that money and I was able to save it. I didn't have to put too much money afterwards for her to go to school. And, I can definitely say now that my daughter went to college and that she didn't have a student loan, which was obviously way better than what I had to do, because obviously I had to pay my student loan. But that to me was a gift that I was able to give to my child, so that she wouldn't have to worry about, okay, now I'm out of school, now I have to worry about paying this stuff back. So that's definitely things that you can do for your children, because I know you want to set them up and for success. Another thing, and I know I'm going fast, but everybody else needs a chance, but I just wanted to touch base on these things, which is like I said, the savings is really important. One additional thing that I wanted to mention is, your life insurance. So you go into, here's my savings, here's my 401k, you got a great job, but then now here comes, Debbie Downer. People think about life insurance as a Debbie Downer because you're thinking about death. Don't think about it that way. Think about it as, I'm leaving something for my child or for my spouse, other than a liability, other than, credit card bills, or, just, I have all this rent, or I've left them now with all of this money towards the house. So think about it, that way, and know that, you're saving these funds for your children, which your beneficiary, which they need it. And the last thing is, when it comes to, again, saving money and putting money aside for, again, your 401k, what have you, you can think about, again, 401k, but then also think about investing, in stock, invest in real estate. So basically purchasing property whenever you can, if you can, obviously, because that property, whatever amount of money you put down to it, and if you pay it off, great, you just less property for your children. And then also invest in bonds and in gold. But for me, the most essential thing is to basically to invest in yourself, invest in your education, invest in your children's education, because without that, I think, and you're really not going to get as far as you can. And again, a lot of people don't go to college because they have street smarts, but it's always good to pick up that book, and it's always good to take a class and what have you, and to better yourself, and to get yourself acclimated with what's going on in the world. Pick up that newspaper, guys. It's not all about just IG and Facebook and stuff like that. Listen to the news and listen to what's going on, and make sure that you're educated on what's going on around you, because as soon as you know what's going on around you, it sets you up not only for success, but before you hit that door, before you open that door, you know what to expect, whether it be weather-wise, whether it be, hey, what, the stock market is down, or hey, I'm going to be able to get a job, a better, have better chances of getting a job because now unemployment has gone down. That means that more people are out there hiring. So like I said, educate yourself, and not just on IG, guys. So thank you for listening. I hope I didn't bore you guys too much, but I did want to get those points across to you. Thank you.
So much. Okay, you can hear me? Wendy, that was such great information that you shared. Of course, it's information that you share with me all the time, and you've helped me with planning the 529 plan for the kids and saving. So it was a wealth of wonderful information. I do want to share this quick disclaimer that the information provided here is for informational purposes only. It should not be considered, and this is for every conversation that we have today, should not be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. You should always consult with a medical, financial, or licensed professional to determine what may be best for your individual needs. But Wendy, again, I believe that in preparing for the vision board, and again, we always see people put more money or a better job or more money at my job, but there are so many other things tied into that. The savings aspect, the 401k, it's so important. And I remember even in my 20s, I didn't think it was important. I think I did it when I was in my 20s. I did it for like a couple of months, and I was like, no, I'm not putting my money in, because I didn't think about the value of the company matching, and I look back now and I know that if I had started earlier, I would have so much more right now, but I'm glad that I know it now. So I do encourage everyone to take advantage of the retirement options, the 401k options within your company's life insurance. It is so great that you touched on that, because a lot of people think about it towards the end, or they think that they don't need it based on their age group. We don't want things to happen, of course not, but we have to be prepared. We have to stop with the GoFundMe's. We have to stop with everyone pitching money together. We have to look into life insurance, and it can start small. So thank you again for that. Save that money. Yes, Ruby. Hi, Ruby. Save that money. El Balcom said, this is so awesome, Osa. Entire webinar is packed with so much information. Thank you so much. We are so grateful for you all. Manny Forjoa said, thank you, Castro. Appreciate the knowledge. Shannon said, thank you, Wendy. I mean, this was great. I mean, like I told people, these are real, raw conversations. So we are giving it to you straight, and Wendy did just that. So
I just wanted to mention one last thing. Right now during COVID, the 401k, the government has actually put some things into place where you can actually borrow up to $100,000 from your 401k, and you're not going to be penalized for that. So these are things that you want to Google and you want to look into, because I, per se, to be honest with you, I've taken advantage of that. And I think a lot of people don't know about that those are incentives that are happening right now during COVID. But you can actually take money. I'm not saying borrowing. You can actually take up to $100,000 of your 401k out and utilize it if you need it, because, for whatever reason, you've lost your job, whatever the case is, and it'll help you during the times until you can get yourself back up. So just wanted to mention that as well.
That is a wonderful tip. And even adding on to that, because of the virus, there have been several incentives. So Google, Google is your friend, but don't use it for every advice. But, go on Google and look up incentives, tax incentives, financial incentives due to the coronavirus. So thank you again. And we are going on to the next thing. So Wendy touched on developing a better relationship with your money. And we are now going to go into relationships, period. So for commitment number 3, our focus is on better relationships. Relationships, love, family, children, friends, leaving past issues behind, opening your heart to new relationships, defeating strongholds, family trauma, and lessons to learn before 2021. So today we have Dr. Kimberly Barry, mental health counselor at Kimberly Barry Consulting. A dynamic motivator and inspiration of change, Kimberly Barry is a psychotherapist and global life strategist coach. Dr. Barry is a change agent with the unique gift of problem solving. She has worked with people of all cultures, stages, and ages across the globe. Kimberly Barry is influential in helping people to move past potential into accomplishments. As a chaplain and officiant, Dr. Barry has a prophetic gift, and this woman of God is dedicated to elevating souls for the kingdom of Christ as a kingdom ambassador. She has an advanced degree in clinical counseling, a master's degree in counseling, and a bachelor's in organizational management. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Kimberly Barry, who will speak on better relationships.
Thank you so much. Thank you again. This forum is very much needed. It's time sensitive. It's efficient. Like I said to you before, I'm so grateful that when you do things in excellence. And it's awesome. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to be here with so many dynamic ladies, blessed ladies. Osa, this was a well needed forum on time, and your journey is just beginning, and I'm so excited to be in it with you. So, I'm here to talk about relationships. And usually, when we speak about relationships, we always talk about the aspect of relationships as is. However, I want to start with defining relationships. So, definition for relationship is the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected, the state of being connected. Relationships are the foundation for life. It's key. I don't know if we actually realize that relationships are formed in us from our very womb, from our parents' womb, our mom's womb. For instance, the things that the fetus internalizes while being carried and going through the process of maturing starts a mother-child relationship. And it also starts a relationship of connecting, because scientists have now realized that the fetus is cognizant. It knows certain aspects. So that's the first point of relationships. And when the child comes out, the way we nurture this child as parents is another aspect of forming healthy relationships, because healthy relationships starts with self-love. And it's the parents' responsibility to give that to their child, to their children, to nurture them, to bring them in that aspect of self-love. One of the key components that I think about is how things have been handed down from generation to generation. So if those parents didn't receive the healthy love and affirmation that they needed, it's unless they learned it and were cognizant of it, chances are they're going to repeat what their parents did and hand it down to their children. So it becomes a cycle. It becomes a vicious cycle. One of the things I have on relationships, that there's several types of relationships, such as relationships with people, relationships with places, relationships with things. So for instance, when I do recovery coaching, and I talk with people who have specific relationships with food and get into the emotional aspects, like why are they emotionally eating? What is really eating them? Or why are they not eating? Because what was some of the self-talk that they're telling themselves? What was fed to them that they believe? And how can we change that thought process? When we look at Christ, he formed relationships all over. And his relationships were pivotal because everyone that we form a relationship with, there's something that that other person needs and that we need. So if I had to expound more on relationships with people, with each other, there's some components that are needed in relationships. For example, trust. We need, for healthy relationships, we need to be able to trust each other and ourselves in a relationship. Now, granted, there are different levels of relationship, intimate relationship, co-workers. Relationships, once again, are the foundation for life. It's across the board. And when people lack relationships, that's when we see certain behaviors, certain sociopaths, psychopaths, certain deficits that they experience because of the lack of relationships, because of the lack of love, the lack of belonging. Everyone needs to belong. And respect. Respect is another key component in our relationship. Once again, everything we do for someone else, we must do for ourselves. Respecting yourself first and foremost, because when you have respect for yourself, there are certain aspects that you won't allow to happen to you. So therefore, those who you're in relationship with will have to respect you as well. Just because the way you present yourself is the way they're going to receive you. And then that sets the tone, that sets the precedence in reference to the relationship. Another aspect in relationship is consistency. Us being consistent with whatever another person's love language is. Are we having our love language fulfilled? Are we fulfilling the other person's love language? Another aspect of relationships that I have here is effective communication. When I say effective, it has to be across the board. Effective in terms of being able to listen wholeheartedly, being able to receive wholeheartedly. And listening is twofold, because listening is listening to what was said and listening for what was not said. Another aspect of relationships is being able to listen to oneself. We are the first line of defense in our relationships. So the way we pay attention to our self-talk, because our self-talk dictates the actions that we'll take. And we have to be clear about what we're telling ourselves. A lot of times there will be exterior, outside influences that we think it's our thoughts. However, they're outside influences that's affecting us. So we have to check, like, where did this come from? Is this even my character? Is this even my nature in reference to a healthy relationship? In 2021, I mean, really, whenever we do something, it should be in the now. So right now, look at your relationships. Look at the things that are occurring in your relationships. Whatever repetitious things are happening, how are you facilitating it? How are you a part of what's happening in our relationship? For instance, in a marriage, are you understanding what your spouse is saying? Are you guys speaking the same language? Are you communicating to your spouse where your spouse understands what you're saying? Is there a direct connection in your relationship that you're able to say, you know, I really didn't understand what you were saying. Would you help me to understand? You know, a lot of times, because what we're taught was handed down, we just take it for granted and not look at the styles of the type of relation, the ways we relate. So let me give you an example. If someone, say, a female grew up in a single family home and she didn't have the father figure to affirm her as a child growing up, as a young lady. So now as she grows up, she's going to seek that, whether she's conscious of it or not. Typically, she may be unconscious of her seeking this validation. And now when she's seeking the validation, it will land her in relationships that most likely will be unhealthy because she didn't have it to start with. So this is something where the healing aspect has to take place. This is something where the therapy comes in, and or coaching, consulting comes into place to allow her to see the missing components and then navigate through it so that she can recognize what a healthy relationship is. You know, I find that that same person will use things, will have relationship with things because of the missing parent. So now they have the most elaborate things. They'll spend money on lots of materialistic things to meet the void. There's a void there when the individual has not had the components that's needed to construct this healthy relationship, to construct their mindset, because it happens in the mind first before the physical. It happens in the, let me say, like I will say, in the spiritual realm first before the physical manifestation of it. So when certain components are missing, then we naturally will seek it in other ways. So that's where I come in to help individuals to see, hey, did this happen? Was this a cause? And how can we now observe and get to the root of the matter? Once we get to the root of the matter, now we can start with solutions. One of the key components with the 5 commitments that I appreciate is that relationships is, like Osa said, is in every aspect of these 5 commitments. What's our relationship with money? Are we respecting our money? Are we using it wisely? Are we being good stewards over it? You know, relationships is, once again, the foundation for life. And if we don't recognize it and get a grasp on the key components that we need to maintain healthy relationships, we'll keep having the same challenges until we learn the lesson. That's, life is secular. You'll keep going through it over and over again until you learn the lesson. Once the lesson has been learned, you move on to the next stage. You will graduate to higher levels. What I enjoy is seeing people free. Look at your life. Write down the things that you've been repeating. Look at the cycles. What have you been continuously doing in relationships and getting the same results? You know, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So now, How can you change that? How can we look into this? How can we put a plan together to cause a shift and to allow you to be free and have healthy relationships? That's my talk for today. Thank you again, Osa.
That was absolutely a necessary conversation because relationships are the root of everything that we do. And if we don't take a look at how we've been brought up, take a look at the relationships within our families, we're bound to repeat a lot of the same things. And that was such great information. The key components of a relationship: trust, respect, love language. Um, as Dr. Kim said, it happens in the spirit and in the mind first. Um, and also to keep going over and over until you learn the lesson. And I think it's something that's really necessary when putting your vision board together or even just writing things down, because we may not know that a lot of the mistakes that we've made in the past or a lot of the patterns that we're going through are the reason why we're not seeing things come to fruition. And it really does start with the mind. And full transparency, and I've shared this with many of my friends before. When I was like in my late 20s going into my 30s, I was single and definitely wanted love and wanted a committed relationship. And I always talked to my friends about the type of relationship that I wanted, and we would share information with each other. And one day I said, you know what, I'm going to write a letter to myself, like really be specific about what it is that I want, right? It's cool to say, oh, yeah, I want him to be chocolate and 6'3" and this and that, or, whatever your choice is. So one day I sat down and I said, you know what? I'm going to be specific because God calls us to be specific. If you want something, go for it. You have to know exactly what you want so that you can prepare your mindset for that. So when I sat down, I froze. I literally froze. I could not write it down. And I was so like mad at myself and wondering, like, I mean, you've been telling all your friends what you want, your family, you've done this, you've done that, you're ready for love. So why can't you write it down? And then I started to realize that as much as I was vocally saying it, deep down inside, internally, I didn't believe that I deserved that. And I had to do the work for myself and on myself to realize that whatever's hindering me, whatever past hurt that I had, whatever past issues that I had, I also needed to forgive myself for the mistakes that I may have made. Once I realized that, and again, it was really tough. Like I was boohoo in tears because I was mad at me. I'm like, me, I am cheerleader, high performer. If I put my mind to career, I can do it. If I put my mind to new business, I can do it. If I put my mind to doing things for my friends, I can do it. But when it comes to love, how come I can't write this down? You know? So again, it took work. It took work. And once I wrote it down, I started to read it all the time. I started to believe it all the time. I remember there were times that, and Wendy touched on it. Sometimes as women, we're still at work longer hours than anybody else. But I told myself, I said, okay, if I want a committed relationship, if I want to have children one day, I need to learn to leave the office. So I started to leave the office on time. And I went home and I pretended and I believed. I was like, okay, I'm coming home to my husband and I'm coming home to my kids. Let me start getting, food ready. I literally started to believe that. And it happened years later. It didn't happen overnight, but I started to change my mindset. And then I started to apply that to other things too, as well. You have to believe it. You have to know that you deserve everything that you're believing for. But you also have to be prepared. You have to change your mindset. And I'm not saying it's easy. I mean, even right now for me, I still go through situations where I have to like check myself, and say, okay, Osa, don't feel like you can't accomplish this or you can't do this or these are things you need to work on. There's still a lot of self development that I need to do, and it's something that we all need to do every day. So I wanted to share that story with you because it's something that really changed my life when I realized that I couldn't write the thing down. And that's with so many other things. Now I write everything down. If I'm believing it, I'm writing it down. I have stickers, notes, affirmations. I have journals. I'm writing it down because I want to believe it and I want to read it. Even if I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm feeling, down, or I'm feeling like I can't accomplish something, I go and grab my journal and I read my notes, and it's so helpful. So, Dr. Kim, again, thank you so much. We will share information for all of the speakers, and I'll speak more on it towards the end of the program. But let us continue on. So we've got two more speakers to go, and this one is something that we always see on vision boards. Commitment number 4, health, fitness, mental health, and spiritual health. How to take control of your health and wellness, creating boundaries, getting rid of excuses, setting up fitness goals, being consistent in your mental, physical, and spiritual health. And today, I'm pleased to have Kalia Moss, certified holistic health coach and educator for Glow Girl Wellness. Now, can you say powerhouse in the making? Kalia Moss is a certified holistic health counselor, wellness educator, and plus size model. Her love for the arts and wellness have taken her places she never thought possible. Kalia dreamed of being in a magazine and seeing her face on the TV screen, but she didn't fit the standard of beauty. Even though she had no clue how her dreams would materialize, giving up was not an option. Her goal to change the image of beauty has been no easy task. Her battles with depression and anxiety was just the fuel she needed to not just change her life, but help others change theirs. Kalia has sprinkled her black girl magic and her curves on the pages of Essence Magazine, People Magazine, O Magazine, and Glamour, to name a few. She also shared her weight loss story on ABC News with Diane Sawyer that melted the hearts of America. Her transparency about her struggles with mental health and obesity have inspired others. Kalia Moss created Glow Girl Wellness to empower, inspire, and educate women to live a healthier lifestyle no matter the size. She lives by this quote: it's not just about what you're eating, but what's eating you. So let's welcome Queen Kalia Moss.
I just want to say, Osa, thank you so much for having me. The panel of women are amazing. Also, I have to say a special thank you to my sorority sister, Eki. If you weren't here from the beginning, she gave us some amazing words of affirmation. And I'm just so grateful to share with all of you a little bit about myself, and also hopefully I can give you some tips to help you. So, I want to share some good news first. I got a scholarship to study meditation with no one other than Deepak Chopra. I don't know where it came from. No, I know where it came from. It came from God. And that's why my company is called Glow Girl Wellness. It's God's love overflowing. And so before I get started, I want to do a moment of meditation with you guys. So what I would like you to do is to get comfortable in wherever you are. If you drive in, just listen. And I want you to be still. And I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to get in tune with your breath. And I want you to inhale and exhale. Inhale again. And exhale. Don't hold in that breath. Let it out. Hear that sound come out. And I want to ask you these 3 questions. Who am I? Who am I? What am I grateful for? And why am I here? What am I supposed to learn in this call, on this live, in this moment? I want you to take one more deep breath inhalation and exhale. Open your eyes. Hello. Health and wellness. Well, health is one, wealth, right? We talked about wealth, relationships with money. We've talked about relationships. We've talked about our careers. And how I work as a holistic health coach is in alignment with everyone on this call. What I said in my bio, it's not just what you're eating. It is, but it's also about what's eating you. And the things that are eating you is what's causing many of us to be out of balance. And what can we do to regain our health and to get in balance? And the foods that I'm going to share with you are not the foods that you're thinking of. They're called primary foods. And our primary foods are our relationships that we just spoke about. And I got so much more information that I needed. Thank you, doctor. And so our relationships, our spiritual connection, our physical activity, and our career. Those are 4 major parts of our life. Our relationships are important. I don't know about you, but when I think about the times where I was my heaviest and my unhealthiest, I think back, like, what were my relationships like? How was I interacting with my friends? If I had a significant other at the time, my parents, what did that look like? My career, was I happy? Was I just going to work and collecting a check, or was I living my life's purpose? Am I doing the work that God put me here to do? Physical activity, what was I doing? Was I getting up and moving every day? Was I going out for a walk? Maybe getting a trainer? What was I doing? My spiritual connection. This is my favorite. I recently gave my life back to God. Almost a year and a half ago, I was baptized. And along my walk, I realized that when I was not my healthiest, I wasn't close to God either. I wasn't close to God. I was miserable at my jobs. I was eating anything, going to McDonald's, not caring what I was putting into my body. My relationships were all over the place. I was depressed, suffering from anxiety. I was losing friendships. And it was one of the hardest times of my life. So when you think about your health, I want you to think about those 4 areas of your life and where they are and how to shift and change them is by making simple life changes. I wrote down a few notes and I'm going to go back and forth in my notes because I wrote things down, like Osa said, that I really wanted you to know. You know, health is from a perspective of wholeness. And what makes creating healthier lifestyle changes more sustainable. You have to create goals. I had an opportunity to have a contract with Slim Fast. I was newly a health coach, and I knew that quick, easy, lose weight in five minutes was not going to be sustainable. And so I had this opportunity to get my commercial because I'm in the arts. I'm an actress and plus size model as well. And so this was my opportunity to get that commercial that I dreamed of. Remember, I also stated that I dreamed of being on television. I dreamed of doing all these things. So even though I knew that this might not be the best choice, I knew that it was going to help me lose weight and get those things that I wanted. But what happened was I gained it all back. Sorry, guys, if you hear any background noise. I live in New York. And I gained it all back and some. I was 265 pounds, almost 265 pounds, give or take. And I dropped down to 160 something pounds. And when I looked at myself, I was like, I don't look right. I didn't feel right. I knew that I was putting in processed foods. I was drinking those shakes and promoting it and putting this stuff out there. And I was not being authentic to myself. And so I had to start all over. How many times has that happened to you, right? It's the new year, right? So you're going to hear and see all over social media, new me, new year, new you, whatever, whatever everyone is saying. And you have to change your lifestyle. It is what it is. And sometimes we don't like to talk about it. We don't like to think about it because we don't want to make certain changes. But if you want something different, you're going to have to do something different. And it's going to mean getting up, get moving, right? I love this concept and I love what Osa is doing because my work as a health coach is, mind, body, and spirit and being in alignment. When it comes to your mind, that's why I wanted to open up with the meditation. Meditation. Well, let's start with prayer. I start my day and I have rituals, and that's something that I want to share with you. Create rituals. My morning rituals. I get up in the morning. Of course, you do all your washing of your face and you do, your brushing of the teeth and those personal care things. But I pray. I'm currently doing a fast right now. That's been life-changing. So if you connect with me after this, I can give you some more information about the fast. And it's not your typical fast. I pray with my prayer group. And after prayer, we meditate. Prayer is you talking to God, and meditation is quieting your mind so that God can speak to you. And your body is your temple. You are what you eat. Whatever you put in it is what you're going to get out. When you get that brand new car, whether it's a BMW, whether it's a Mercedes, or whether it's a Honda, whatever it is, right? You want to put the best gas in it, right? You're going to take care of it. You're going to make sure you wash it. And so that's what you should do with your body. You should only give your body the best, right? So we have to look at our health in a whole. It's every aspect of your life. So some tips that I want to give you is eating clean. Eating clean. Are you eating enough vegetables? When you go into the grocery store, are you shopping in those inner aisles? Because I'm going to tell you, those inner aisles is where all of the things that we don't need to be eating are. We need to be eating whole foods. You want to I'm thinking about my grocery store. As soon as I come in, it's produce. And that's the first place I go to. You want to get your greens. You want to get your fruits. When you're craving, and I crave too, when you're having those cravings of sweets and you want a candy bar, make sure you have fruits in your refrigerator. Make a smoothie. Preparation. If you fail to plan, you will plan to fail. I can't tell you how many times I have set out a goal to eat healthy and I don't meal prep. Meal prepping is a great tool. It may take a few hours to do so, but I guarantee you throughout your week, you will be so grateful that you did. It'll be you, instead of going to McDonald's to get something, it's like, oh, I already have food made, and warm it up and make you get creative with it. You know, make sure you have these 3 things when you are meal prepping, that you have foods that are high in protein, whether it's fish or turkey. I love salmon, shrimp. Make sure you have healthy carbs, you know, your brown rice, your quinoa, or what kind of carbs? Sweet potatoes, things like that. You don't want to, you know, have your white rice and your, you know, your white pasta. You want to be mindful and stay away from those things. And you need to have your vegetables. We're going into winter months, and so eating seasonally is very important as well. Even though we can go to the grocery store and get whatever we want, no matter what time of the year it is, your body naturally just digests foods differently in different seasons. During the winter, root vegetables, root, you want to be grounded. So you want to eat things like I said, potatoes, sweet potatoes, carrots, soups, hearty foods that will sustain you through these winter months. So eating clean, whole foods. Also, when you are getting things out of in packages, you want to make sure you're reading your labels. It is so important to read labels. If you can't understand half of that stuff that's on there, then you don't need to eat it. Second guess and put it back. It's hard, and I struggle with it too, but I have to be honest with you and transparent, especially if you have created that goal, whether it's I want to lose 5 pounds, whether I want to lose 10 pounds, whether I want to, you know, just drop that dress size, whatever your goal is, you have to tailor how you eat towards your goal. I learned a lot from someone who has passed. His name is Dr. Sebi. I don't know if any of you have heard of him. His philosophies changed my life, and I learned about alkaline and acidity through his work. And that was one of the catalysts for me to go to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition to receive my certifications in health and wellness. When your body is alkaline, meaning your pH balance, that's the presence of hydrogen in your body. You have acidic from 0, you know, perfect example. I have my water bottle, my alkaline water. And acidic is from 0 to 6. 7 is neutral. And anything after 7 is alkaline. Disease can't live in a body that's alkaline. So we have to be mindful of the foods that we eat. When we have a highly acidic diet, we are more susceptible to disease and illness. With COVID taking lives, I lost my great aunt to COVID on Good Friday. And we have to arm our immune systems right now. I have to be very real with you because the rates are rising, and we're also focused on vaccinations, which I have my own personal feelings about vaccinations. But outside of vaccinations, we really need to arm our immune system. We can be carrying it and don't know. We can pass it to someone else. So we want to keep your body in a state of being alkaline as much as you can. That is why it's important to make sure you're eating your vegetables and your fruits, and that you're staying away from processed foods that will weaken and suppress your immune system. We have to keep our immune system strong. In the morning, the first thing I do before prayer, I take my liquid multivitamin. I love my liquid multivitamin, one, because it absorbs in the body 98%. As soon as I take it, I feel it. I know it's working. When you take vitamins that are in pill form, that have been sitting on the shelf for God knows how long, your body only absorbs anywhere between 20 to maybe 30%, if that. So you want to have something that's liquid, that hits your bloodstream, that's working instantly. So that also helps in creating your an alkalinity in your body. Detoxing is very important. How many of you don't move your bowels normally or every day? If you eat every day, you have to move your bowels every day. And the more you are not having healthy bowel movements, those toxins are just building up and building up and building up and building up. And that weakens your immune system. So you want to make sure that you're detoxing. Detoxing can look anywhere from juice cleanses. I do a lot of juice cleansing and fasting. When you're fasting and you're detoxing, you're giving your body a break. You're giving your body a break on all of the things that you've put in it. And let's see what else I wanted to share with you. Being consistent. I have been let me tell you, I done been every size. I done been a size after I had my son. I was at 18, 20. And when I shot my commercial for Slim Fast, I was a 4. And I could not believe, I ain't never seen numbers like that before. I was like, a 4. But I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at 250 something, whatever I was. And I wasn't happy at 160 either. I found what worked for me. I recently lost some more weight because like I said, I gained weight from Slim Fast. And I was looking at the scale and I was like, I'm 200 pounds. But when I tell you I work out every day, I feel amazing. I'm not a slave to the scale anymore. I go about how I feel. How do my clothes fit? When I look in the mirror, and I challenge you to do that. Look at yourself. I looked at myself the other day and I was like, Kalia, you better go ahead, girl. Look at you transforming in ways that I never did. I'm not driving myself crazy. If I don't work out in a day, I don't beat myself up. If I do get on the scale because I have to hold myself accountable and I see that the numbers are creeping up a little bit, I hold myself accountable. I don't beat myself up anymore. And I get back on track. Because once you start falling off the train, it's easy for you to just keep doing it, and keep doing it. And then you move yourself further and further and further away from your goal. The thing is, we want to stay as close to our goal as possible so that we can achieve it. That's why I love being a health coach, and because it's not just food. When you really start to work through your relationships with people, I'm so happy that my relationships are better. And when you are doing your life's work, your career, you feel good. When I'm coaching or when I'm teaching, I used to teach when schools were open, culinary education to the youth in New York City, in Brooklyn. I just felt so alive and I had purpose. And I'm teaching these kids in inner cities that was like, they call me Miss K. Miss K, I don't want to eat that. That's vegetarian stuff. It was a vegetarian program. But once we made the food and they tasted it and they were like, that's good. I'm like, I'm telling you, you got to trust me. Eating healthy, people think it's nasty. It's like, I don't want to eat like a rabbit. But when you eat healthy, your body is like, yes, and you feel good. Let me ask you a question. How do you feel after you've eaten, let's say McDonald's, right? Or, okay, you know what? I'm gonna say Burger King. I love when I used to eat there. I love their double cheeseburger. Ooh, I love me some double cheeseburger from Burger King. But after I ate it, I felt heavy. I felt tired and I didn't feel good. But after I eat a salad, now you're talking about a salad with some feta cheese, maybe some grilled shrimp, grilled chicken, grilled salmon, some tomatoes. I love spicy food. So some jalapeno peppers, some black olives, some tomatoes, cucumbers. You mix your own little salad dressing. It doesn't have to be salad dressing from the grocery store. You can whip up some olive oil, some apple cider vinegar, some herbs, some fresh garlic, some shallots, shake that up, pour it over your salad, eat that up, and you feel energized. That is how your food is supposed to make you feel. It's supposed to give you the energy that you need. Remember, your food is your fuel to get you through the day. So I don't want to take too much time. I don't want to, keep talking. I could talk about food and wellness and health all day. But again, I want to just reiterate, to create and set goals, stay consistent, get up and move every day, get in tune with your God. I'm a Christian, but whomever your God is, get in tune with him so that he can help align you. Work on your career, on your life's purpose. You got some great tips early on how to do that. And your relationships. You know, if you have healthy relationships, then thank God for that. But if some of your relationships aren't, work on it. Again, I want to just thank Osa so much. The other women that have come before me, you are amazing. And I'm so grateful to be here with all of you women of God. It's a blessing. And thank you so much. And I hope what I shared was impactful.
It absolutely was impactful, Kalia. And I think you speaking on health really just brought everything else together. And you stayed in your health is your wealth. My parents instilled that in me growing up. Health is wealth. Health is wealth. And it's even interesting that you say that because I remember when I went through my coaching program, towards the end of the program, we now had to write down what we wanted to execute. You now have the tools, you now have the tips. Now, what is your plan? How do you go? And when I worked on my plan, the first thing I put as a priority was my health. And I said, I cannot move forward until I focus on that. There were several things that I was dealing with. And I said, one, I need to put me first. And two, I need to devote my time to that. It's funny that you mentioned liquid supplements because I'm a big believer in liquid supplements. I love liquid supplements and I feel the difference and I see the difference. And I know that you offer several products and I do have your information in a worksheet that I will be sharing with everyone at the end so that you can contact Kalia about that. One thing I do love about the liquid multivitamin supplements is that you get all your nutrients and you get your energy too, because I get fired up when I take my nutrients. I don't like tablets. I take gummies as well. I don't know. I still need to do my research on whether gummies actually has the nutritional components. I don't know if you can help with that or if someone else has information on that. Dr. Sebi, I'm a big fan of Dr. Sebi and his work. I was joking with my producer Logic. I was like Team Sebi, but I'll be honest, I'm not 100% Team Sebi. I'm like 50% right now because while you were talking about food and you were discussing root vegetables, I was over here craving provisions. I want some sweet potatoes, some yams. They better have my dumplings. I had some soup, some yummy soup last night, and it's so funny. Like as I was drinking the soup, I just felt so good, and I was like, man, this is so good. So I completely understand. And to be completely honest, I got a piece of sweet potato pie in my fridge right now. It's been there for 3 days because I said I will wait until we're done with all of this so I can enjoy. So, I try to, minimize the sweets at least once a week so that, I can have my fun. Like Wendy said, you have to do things for yourself and enjoy.
Yes.
So, I enjoy
Balance.
balance it out. Yeah. So this was really great. You speaking about creating rituals, the importance of prayer and meditation. And I love that you broke that down, that prayer is talking to God and meditation is quieting your mind so God can speak to you. That is so wonderful. And then also, if you fail to plan, you will plan to fail. So thank you again, Kalia. I know we are over time, so let's quickly go to the last. So our last commitment is self advocacy, personal goals, personal style, and you. How to recognize who you are and align it with the way you truly want to see yourself. And today, I am so happy to have one of my favorite people, Alicia Crutchfield McLean, founder and lifestyle architect for StyleWise. Alicia Crutchfield McLean is a prominent fashion stylist, tech, and lifestyle entrepreneur who splits her time between New York City and Connecticut. Alicia has over 16 years of experience in the fashion industry, Her keen fashion sense, work ethic, and risk taking has led to a successful career in high fashion, editorial, runway theater, TV, and film. Alicia is constantly evolving and growing her professional portfolio. With her current role as founder and CEO of StyleWise, she is paving the way with her highly sought approach to living an abundant lifestyle, where personal development meets style. Through her StyleWise Life program, tools, specialized techniques, and positive philosophy, many have learned to create more of what they want in their lives, more wellness in their bodies, minds, and spirits. Alicia will be joining us via audio. She has a family commitment today, but I'm so grateful that you are able to join us via audio today. So, Alicia, let's go.
I'm on audio because I'm actually driving to Boston. My mother had a stroke this morning, so I'm jetting to her. So please add her and my family to your prayers today.
Absolutely.
I would greatly appreciate it. She is stable, and I was able to speak to her. But she encouraged me to proceed with this webinar because I was gonna cancel, and I would hate to cancel on you, Osa.
Oh, I love you.
But it's
So
extremely important and rewarding for me to be here to share what I've learned and what I've incorporated into my lifestyle to live as I desire with intention and abundance. It wasn't until I started seriously taking time for my self-care, for my mental well-being, that my life really changed. And self-care is so much more than sipping tea, pretty bubble baths, and face masks and all that good stuff. While all of those things are great ways to unwind, they don't inherently hold any value. So you can alleviate stress temporarily by soaking in a hot tub or getting a massage, but real self-care requires work and dedication. It's resolving excuse me, practicing positive self-talk, affirmations, and just being more aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and how they contribute to your overall well-being. Like Nogie said earlier, self-care starts with self-reflection. Self is your sense of who you are, deep down, your identity. You have to truly get to know yourself to determine what strategies and habits will work for you. And that has changed my life tremendously. I believe that is the key to reaching your highest potential and living as your true self. So, self-care, inner core, identity. There are so many layers surrounding and protecting that inner core. So you have to work hard to get to it. I like to use the skincare routine as an example. You know how we have, our routine. We have to deeply cleanse our skin, exfoliate, remove dead skin cells, all that stuff, all these layers before the serums that we apply can actually work. Well, treating your inner self core is like that meticulous beauty routine. It took me maybe a little over 3 years to do some deep internal cleansing and purging to get to my core to treat it. I had quite a bit of limiting beliefs that I had to address and dismantle to get to this point where I'm now living my life with clarity. I've been able to achieve more of my goals from my vision board, short-term goals. Um, I'm abundant, a mindset abundance, financial abundance, relationship abundance. And I've gotten to a point where I'm living life with confidence. Now, I'm sure we all have our own dedicated self-care habits. But I wanted to start with pointing out a few essentials that have helped me and my clients tremendously. One is getting at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep each night and following a consistent sleep schedule. I know that's hard for many of us who are parents. I have a 4-year-old who definitely doesn't have a set bedtime right now, but I do try to get in at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep. 2 is exercising regularly and maintaining a healthy diet, which we just spoke about. Now, I'm not going to lie, most days exercise for me is running behind my daughter or putting the dishes in the dishwasher, which leads to me end up washing the damn dishes. And yes, that's a strenuous routine for me. 3 is avoiding mood-altering substances and people, as well as unhealthy coping mechanisms. And we can all list what those could be. 4 is setting and establishing boundaries in relationships and not being afraid to stay true to who you are. You know, I'm not for everyone, and I know that, but that's neither here nor there. You know, I could be annoying somebody right now, but I know that people are gaining value from what it is that I have to say and what it is that I'm encouraging them to do and to be. And that's who they are. Live in their true self, their true essence. 5 is having a work-life balance and practicing stress management techniques to prevent burnout. In my career, I got so tired of seeing women, especially women of color, including myself, struggle with feeling insecure, being overwhelmed, not having the time or the resources to help them succeed on a higher level. And I'm talking about regular women, you know, celebrity women, all the same. You know, I've seen so much mental strife and struggle. And these mental blocks can be shattered with a dedicated mind shift. And that's why I changed my Style-Wise business from wardrobe styling to lifestyling and coaching, because I saw that so many women needed more than a styled outfit. They needed genuine and compassionate support to address their internal wardrobe before they could flaunt their external wardrobe. Hold on, let me just pop on this camera real quick so I can say it real quick. Address your internal wardrobe before you can flaunt your external wardrobe. That is so important. You must reclaim your mind and your power to live the life you desire and deserve. It requires loving yourself, forgiving yourself, and treating yourself with compassion and patience. Now, genuine self-care isn't easy, and depending on your vices, it ain't cheap. But I do believe that working with a life coach such as Osa and Nogie, or a therapist to help you gain a greater clarity and self-awareness that can help make self-care feel less like a chore is great. Some of us struggle to learn how to take care of ourselves because we're on autopilot in adulthood. But again, the first act of self-care we can commit is making the decision to start acting more consciously and compassionately in our favor. Take a stance for your self-advocacy. So with Style-Wise, I design routines and compile resources for self-care. Committing to self-care, a self-care routine specific to your lifestyle makes a huge difference in your mental health and your personal well-being. I can attest to it. So I designed a routine specifically for you all today. I call it the pursuit of self. This 4-step routine is derived from the word self, SELF, and you can incorporate it into your daily life. So self, let's start with S, shift. One of my favorite quotes is, change your mindset, change your life. Your mindset plays a huge part in how you view yourself in the world. The mind houses our emotions, judgments, worries, secrets, and many of us don't even realize that our own thoughts can be holding us back from reaching our full potential. It's such a powerful place, and because of that, it's important to constantly grow and adapt your ways of thinking. You have to continuously work on shifting your mindset to embrace new perspectives if you want to become a more accepting and abundant person. Keep in mind, I am not a master of these things. There are times when I do none of the following and wallow in self-pity like I almost did today. But I can usually pick myself up from a bad situation and turn it around with the help of my mindset shifts. Reciting affirmations in the mirror is one of the ways I do this, which leads me to E in self. E is for esteem, self-esteem. Self-esteem is your confidence and the ability to achieve and thrive in life. It's your self-respect. Self-esteem is the barometer for your self-advocacy. The pressure should always be aiming high. A high self-esteem is beneficial for your whole being. It can make you look at failure and rejection from a positive lens, and as a learning experience rather than something to justify your low self-esteem by feeding it. And I mean, you can have a balance of it. When I say high, I'm not saying, super high, superficial, super dramatic, but or overconfident, but a balance of it. Having high self-esteem makes you less prone to feeling anxious, upset, and frustrated when surrounded by challenging situations. Rebuild your self-esteem by reiterating the truth about yourself to yourself in writing, out loud, and in your head until you can actually begin to believe it. I'm very big on affirmations. I know we talked about, affirmations today. We started out with an amazing affirmation by Ekiuwa, but affirmations don't work unless you truly internalize them and be very specific. One of my daily and most valuable affirmations is I am. I am me. I stay true to who I am. I speak as I am. Again, it's so important to be specific with your affirmations so that you can activate and truly reach your highest potential without flinching. And then you'll be able to help someone else, your girl, your man, your mother, whoever, so that they can level up to their highest potential. And now all of you are living your best lives, and nobody can negatively affect that. Don't be afraid to apply yourself and your brand newness, even if others can't see the rewards that you foresee from leveling up to your true self. Next is L for love, self-love. Recognize who you are and align with it the way you truly want to see yourself in life. Self-love is about loving yourself without needing to make comparisons to anyone else. It's taking pride in your performance and your achievements, the small and the big ones. It's giving yourself the validation you need and recognizing that it's okay to feel uncertain and doubt yourself now and then. That's normal. Take time for you. Take time for your physical well-being, your body. Take time for your mental well-being, your thoughts, and time for your emotional well-being, your spirit. Remember your worth. Know your real worth. Start by viewing rejection and failure as a learning experience. I look at it as being one step closer to achieving what I want. Failure and rejection is just a part of the package and a part of the journey to the final destination. Make a list of everything you have accomplished in life, no matter how big or how small. Again, I personally like vision boarding for this because it allows me to truly authenticate, my goals, to see them and go back to my board and put some cute little diamond tacks or, check it off or whatever it is, dance around it, we accomplished that. I had my husband do a vision board as well. He definitely wasn't into it at first. He thought it was a female thing, but not at all. And he's certainly come a long way with his mental and mindset building as well, and he enjoys uh, seeing what he's accomplished on his vision board. Lastly is F. F is for forgiveness, self-forgiveness. Research has shown that those who practice self-forgiveness have better mental and emotional well-being, more positive attitudes, and overall healthier lifestyle. Self-forgiveness, y'all. This enables us to separate who we are from the mistakes we've made. That way we can begin to learn from our choices and find ways to make amends when possible. It'll be easier to truly forgive others when we start forgiving ourselves. And forgiveness takes time. It's certainly taken a lot of time and a lot of gut wrenching for me to forgive myself and forgive others. But I'm better at it. I just implore you to take your time and don't discredit the importance of dismantling limiting beliefs and work to forgive yourself and others, because your self-care depends on it. And that is the pursuit of self-shift, self-esteem, self-love, self-forgiveness, a mind map for your self-care. So again, please get help if you need it, and don't be ashamed to do so. You're here today for a reason. I recently hired a life coach to help me stay on track, and she's been absolutely amazing, because this last year has been extremely difficult for me to stay focused, and as I'm sure it has been for many of you. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you all for your time, and I look forward to connecting with some of you.
Thank you so much, Alicia. Our prayers are with your mom. Um, we are declaring that she is healed. We are declaring that she is stable. We are declaring that the doctors that are working with her, the medical professionals that are working with her, will guide her to come back to where she is. And I thank you so much for your dedication to still being here with us today and dropping the gems. I mean, self is the most important thing, and uh, the breakdown of the pursuit of self, shift, esteem, love, and forgiveness is so necessary. And once again, thank you. And we're still moving and we're still going. And um, we will now pivot over to bringing all of the panelists back if you're still here to join us. And I won't go through too many questions because of time, but if you have questions yourself, please go ahead and share them now and it will pop up on the screen. But once again, I want to thank Nogle Udevulu, Wendy Castro, Kimberly Barry, Kalia Moss, and Alicia Crutchfield McLean for joining me today. I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to accomplish this before the end of the year. This was a challenge that was given to me to do, and I like a challenge. So, we'll get it done. And I'm so grateful for all of you for joining me in this. You all heard from various levels of life coaches. There are different types of life coaches, and when I was looking at the type of life coach that I wanted to be, I looked at my gifts, I looked at my skills, I looked at what I'm good at. And what I'm good at is partnerships. I'm good at events. And the coaching model that I am doing is an event to coaching model. So this is the first of many events and many series to come. We will have more activities next year in 2021. So if you are interested in attending, if you are not on my email list or not following me on social media, definitely email me at coaching by Osa at thegiftagency.com. And I hope all of you ladies will be able to join me again next year because this is information that people really, really need. So these questions that I'm about to ask, anyone can answer. It doesn't necessarily have to deal with what you focused on specifically. So we'll start with career. What is some good advice on how to balance career and family life? Nogie, do you want to start with that?
You're going to call me out on that. So a lot of people use the word, work-life balance. I tend to shy away from that because let's be real, and Wendy, you can agree with me on this. There's just going to be times when things are just not balanced. So instead of using that word and finding yourself kind of trapped in wanting to make everything balance at the same time, I use the word seasons because there are seasons. There are seasons where, you just have to focus on family and put everything else on the back burner. There are seasons where you have to focus on your job and put everything else on the back burner. There are seasons where you have to focus on your health, right? I mean, I hate the fact that most of us focus on our health when we fall sick or when we get a bad report from the doctor, right? But there are seasons, and recognizing that sometimes we have to put those things in that context allows us to then create the balance, right? When we plant a seed, we don't just get the harvest the next day. There is a period of waiting. And so that's what happens with work and with family, right? You have a baby. There's a reason why you have maternity. You really just have to focus on that child. My second kid was in the NICU for 11 weeks. And maternity for me back then was 16 weeks. That wasn't enough. So I had my baby for 11 weeks in the hospital, and I only had 4 weeks before getting back to work. I called them up and I said, I'm sorry, I'm not ready to return. I would take no pay, but I need to be with my child for an extra 2 months before returning. And that was something I was willing, that was a risk I was willing to take, because at that point, my child mattered, not the job. And the amazing thing was I took 5 months in total, showed up on the job, and within 3 weeks, I was told I was getting put up for promotion. Okay, at least I took enough time to focus on my baby at that point. So then returning to work, I'm not having some guilt trip. I gave my child the amount of time she needed. And I have no regrets till today. So I believe in seasons. It's just knowing when to put something in priority so that when that attention is steady, you can then proceed to the other things. And that's how you balance it. But trying to balance everything at the same time, you're going to have a brain imbalance. You don't want that. So understand seasons, know what to prioritize at different times, and then life just becomes beautiful and balanced in that manner. I hope that helped answer some questions. Okay.
That you covered it all. That definitely answers the question. Someone had a financial question, and again, Wendy's not a financial advisor, so we would recommend that you speak to a financial advisor, or you speak to someone who's focused on financial information within your companies. But Kaisha, hi Kaisha, what would you say is the minimum for a 401k withdrawal? You're muted.
Now?
You're good.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I hear you.
401k is meant really for obviously for your retirement. So really, you're supposed to be withdrawing your amounts with no penalties. What I think it's like 62, 67. I don't know. They keep raising the minimum ages, but realistically, you can actually take a loan against your 401k. Basically, you're just taking money and you're taking the loan against yourself. So you do have to pay a little bit of interest on that, and you can set up the time frame of when you're paying yourself back. The maximum is about $50,000. But right now, like I said, during COVID, they are having some incentives where you can actually just withdraw money because of COVID. And this is the first time. So, if you need it, do it. So it's about $100,000 that you can take against yourself. You don't have to pay it back. And then when it comes to the taxes, what you can do is you can actually pay the taxes within 3 years. You have to set it up, but you can actually pay these taxes for that $100,000 within 3 years, as opposed to just paying it right now. So it's an incentive that, you know, a lot of us don't know, and we should look into. Again, if you have a home and you want to, you want to fix something up, or you just want to borrow and just have it in the bank just in case, like, you can do it with no penalty. Another thing that you can also do is, what was the other incentive that they had, was for your car. And this is not obviously 401k, but it is with your car. If you have a lease right now, you can actually defer your payment. So basically, if your lease expires, like, let's say in January, and you deferred 1 or 2 payments, then you're extending basically your lease till the following, February or what have you. But, if you need the money now, then, and you can defer it, hey, take advantage of these incentives, because this is not happening all the time.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Alicia, I don't know if you're around for to answer a question. If you are, let me know.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. How does one go about truly defining themselves? And Kalia touched on it earlier. When we see at the end of the year and people are posting their comments on social media, or as soon as the new year hits, it's new year, new me. And that's just the statement, but we're not seeing any newness at all. So how do you really go about truly defining yourself?
Well, that's that internal reflection that I talked about. You really have to take time to meditate, if that's your thing. Journal. I love journaling. I have about 100 journals scattered around the house. I need to write. I need to write out. I need to write out the things that I know about myself. I write out things from the past that I remember. The things that I'm doing currently. I try to keep track of my emotions. We're aging, and then I said it in a good way. We're not teens anymore, so life and our mental have changed quite a bit. So you should be writing. You should be doing internal work to define who you are, to help figure out what's going to work for you, so that the things you do work. I those new year resolutions can be, we can have a list of resolutions, but if we really don't commit to them, if we really don't internalize them, then we're not going to be able to activate them. So I think it's just really choosing a routine to help you get out the information you need to know about yourself, to be able to create a plan that you're going to be able to stick to, a plan that's going to be effective.
Wonderful, wonderful. So there was a question that came up about meditation. Logic, do you mind putting it up? Okay. Hi, Olga. Olga Bradley. Olga, I saw you in the chats. You had a lot to say, and I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad that you're listening. This question is for Kalia. How do I sustain a consistent meditation every day when I feel like, woo? And looking at her comments, she said meditation is hard for her. She falls asleep. I get it, Olga. That's me at yoga classes. I can't do yoga. I fall asleep every time. But let Kalia talk about that.
Thank you, Olga, for your question. Yes, meditation, especially yoga, you definitely can fall asleep because you're so relaxed. Your body is just so relaxed, and you're in your oneness. So it's easy to fall asleep. Start with a few minutes. That's how I started. I started just closing my eyes. There's apps. I would suggest the Chopra app is a great app. There's several free meditations on there to get you started, and there are other apps as well. I set a timer on my phone, so I meditated several times a day since I'm studying meditation now. But before then, I had a timer, and it said to breathe. So while we were just on this call, I got my notification at 2:30. It was time to breathe. And if that's what you have to do to get going, that's what has helped me. Sometimes it's hard to stay focused when you're meditating because you might have outside things going on around you, or just your mind is all over the place, and that is okay. Once you notice that your thoughts are wandering, you bring yourself right back. Start off meditating for even if it's a minute, 2 minutes, until you build up your mental strength to sit in meditation longer. But my suggestion would be to download apps. There's so many great meditation apps. Set a timer on your phone, a time that works for you, that you can silence your mind. Find a place in your home that's quiet, and just sit for a few minutes and your breath. Life begins and ends in breath. We come in here into the world out of our mother's womb, and we take our first breath. When we leave this earth, we take our last breath. It's all in your breath. So if you are out and about and you can't meditate, just stop and breathe. That's why when I opened my talk with you guys in meditation, was just to quiet your mind and just to breathe. Just feel your breath. I hope that was helpful. But those are my suggestions.
Thank you, Kalia.
You're
And she
welcome.
also asked about liquid vitamins, and we'll share some information so that you can get in contact with Kalia. Question for Dr. Barry: can a lack of self-love and or confidence affect your relationship with others? Let's see if she can hear you. There? Are you there? Okay, well, is there anyone else that would like to answer that question? So the question again is, can a lack of self-love and or confidence affect your relationship with others?
Okay.
Are you there? I know we have a little bit of a delay. Anyone else want to jump in? You're muted. So Dr. Kim, we'll come back to you. Logic, do we have any other questions, or I'll go on to some other questions. And Olga, yeah, we hear you. Go ahead. Sorry, we're having.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Looks like it went away. The power of technology. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Olga, you did have a question about opening a 529 plan, and we will send you some information, some resources that Wendy recommended. So you'll get that information on there. Kalia, how important is mental health? How important are mental health check-ins?
Mental health check-ins are essential. I remember when I was first diagnosed with depression and anxiety disorder. I was at Hofstra University with Ekiuwa. And we were doing my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta, we were doing a program on mental health. That's one of our thrusts that we serve by. And it was a mental health check-in. And I was 21 years old, all my life ahead of me. And we get this assessment, and I checked off every single, it was 10 things. I checked off every single one. And it made me think, and I was like, oh, wow, I need help. I am struggling. And that's when I went to get help, and I went to go see a counselor. Thank God they provided it at school. But over the years, I I felt like there was something wrong with me, that I was crazy, or why am I feeling these things? Why am I having these thoughts? And I self-medicated. And I think back, had I continued my journey of going to seek therapy, that some of the things that I went through in my life I could have avoided. So checking in with a professional, with your mental health, if you are not feeling like yourself, if you all of a sudden are now sleeping all the time, if the things that you once loved are no longer are fueling you or feeding you, you need to check in with someone. And I talk about this all the time with my girls, because as Black women, we are always feeling like we have to take the world on our shoulders. We can't be weak. And when we do, or we are struggling with our mental health, that's a sign of weakness, and it isn't. So yes, check in. There are so many resources for clinicians to help. If you're looking for a woman of color, if you have those certain criteria of people that you want to see that can help you, there's someone out there for you. So mental health check-ins are important. Your circle is important. Your tribe, the women that you have around you, are important. And having that girlfriend, me and my girlfriends, we talk all the time, and we have open conversations about our feelings. So having support is also important. But yes, check in with your mental health frequently, especially during this time of COVID.
All right, Kalia, thank you so much for that. Um, so I will ask this question to those who are in committed long-term relationships or married. What is the recipe to keeping the love ever evolving? Who wants that? Answer that question.
Communication.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about the sugar coated kind. Communication. No one is the same. And I know a lot of us. Well, I'll speak for myself. I was heavy on the finding my quote unquote soulmate, and I honestly just don't believe that it exists. Everyone is different. My husband and I, we have different views on different things. And now that we're parents to a 4-year-old girl, we there's some we get into some friction there with just certain things on how she should be raised now that she's home full time. And I'm just using that as an example of some of the things we communicate about. But we communicate, and we communicate with truth, and with respect, but we don't hold back. And it allows us to really flush out just the nitty gritties that we're trying to get through. Sorry for the background noise that we're getting back in the car. So yeah, communication that's not sugar coated is one thing that I can chime in with.
Thank you.
I can add to that. And I think this is very, very, very common with women. Sometimes we give so much, even when we're running on empty. So I like to quote the scripture here. It said, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your mind and all your strength." Like, love God with everything, right? Then the next verse is, "Love your neighbor as yourself." So you paying attention, listening to this, is you loving yourself. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot ask of someone what you don't give to yourself. Because just like you, they also have a capacity to love. So if they don't understand how to love, they can't give you what they don't know. Right? And the way you get that revelation is when you start taking care of yourself, not out of spite, but because you are a special being. Like, you are so unique to God. If you drop dead today, is your spouse going to give account of your life? No. So why aren't you taking care of yourself? Why are you waiting for someone to take care of you? So it's you. It starts with you. How do you keep a long-lasting relationship? It's how you treat yourself, because you can't give what you don't have. All right.
Those are some true words, and it's always going back to self. You know, if you're expecting something of your mate and your partner, then it has to start with you, and that's something that I always work on myself too, and in understanding, and that applies to everything in life. If you want something to happen, if you want something to change, it starts with you. So thank you, Alicia, and thank you, Nogie, for that. So Dr. Kim, I'm coming back to you. Let's unmute and see if this is working again. So my question is, can a lack of self-love and or confidence affect your relationship with others? No. Are you there? All right, we hear you.
Hopefully, I heard the question. I'm having some technical difficulties. Would you repeat the first part?
Sure. Can a lack of
Affecting
self-love
the relationship?
Yep.
Absolutely. A lack of self love will affect any and every relationship, because if we don't love ourselves first, we don't have the capacity to truly love others. It starts with self. It starts with what has been ingrained in us, input into us. It starts with our mental capacity, our thought processes. And if you aren't loving yourself, and then you have others who you are um, stating love for, it's not love. It's not love. Now you're really just becoming a slave to something that you don't have the capacity to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's where people need a self check. Your relationships will not prosper the way that they need to prosper because you don't have the capacity to truly love. Love starts with self. Love is an action word. So, just like the other ladies were stating, um, like the word of God says, we are wonderfully and fearfully made in the image of God. Period. That's a beginning point. That's where we start to love who God has created us to be. If we were not receiving it growing up, then seek help to help you to get past it. Seek help where you can get a clearer understanding and move in the process of loving self and then others. In the airplane, one of the things they say is, in case of an emergency and the mask come down, put your mask on first and then help someone else. You can't help someone else unless you help yourself first. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Barry. That is so true and so necessary. Um, we are going to wrap up now. And before we do, I want all of us, as you're listening, as you're watching us, I want us to declare a few things. Dr. Barry, I think your logic, if you could mute Dr. Barry. Okay, thank you so much. Shout out to Logic, producer.
Okay.
Iran Productions. Thank you so much. We could not have done this whole thing without you. So thank you so much for that. So a few declarations before we leave. Let us declare that we will stop trying to hold on to what we say we want to get rid of, especially as we go into 2021. Please leave it in 2021. Just like we want to leave COVID in 2020, let's leave all those other things that are hindering you from going after your goals and your dreams. Okay, if you're saying that you don't want it anymore, you don't want to deal with these type of issues anymore, then let's go. You have to do it. Let us commit to our highest good by remembering to put ourselves first, just like Dr. Barry just said, before we can care for anyone else. Let us declare that we will follow our passion and not let the fear of success. I'll say it again. Let us declare that we will follow our passion and not let the fear of success get in the way of following our goals. I know so many of us deal with the imposter syndrome, um, or just feeling like, how did I get here? How did I get in this room? How did I get this opportunity? Believe that you are there because you're supposed to be there. Okay? Let us declare that we will not be afraid of debt or the mistakes that we have made in the past, but that we are now focused to have a plan. And if this is your plan for 2021, we are now focused to have a plan for becoming debt free. Let us declare that we will make time and space to connect with God, connect with your creator, connect with the divine. Let us declare that we will honor our purpose and the gifts that are within us. Let us declare that we will not compare ourselves to someone else's purpose and gifts, because we all have a unique gift to share in this world. And lastly, let us declare that we will not be afraid to ask for help. So if you agree, I want you to please type yes or type I declare in the comments. I want you to know that you are way more gifted and talented than you give yourself credit for. I want you to know that you are worthy of honor and respect. But it must first start with you. And it's an ongoing process. And we can all attest to that. We all still go through our different issues and doubting ourselves. But know that you determine your worth and your value. So before we leave, I have a gift for you all. Some of you received an email already for those that RSVP'd in advance. But I want you to go to www.thegiftagency.com. And if someone can please type that in the comments, please do. Thegiftagency.com, where at the bottom of the website, you will see a link that says download the 5 commitments. And in the 5 commitments, you will receive and you will see that there's a worksheet that you can fill out that will help you as you prepare your vision board. Resources, which includes contact information, resource information for all the speakers that we have today, as well as a declaration. It's a declaration that I want you to print out, I want you to say it, and I want you to sign it. And I want you to look at it how many times you can and continue to declare it. You can also share it on social media. My IG is heyosa, HEY.Osa, or you can share it on the Gift Agency LLC. Tag us. Tag is the 5 commitments. Share it on Facebook as well. We're all on Facebook, so you can tag us on that as well so we can see it. And then also, too, I mentioned earlier that my type of coaching is an event to coaching model. So I'm still fairly new at this, but it is my goal in 2021 to launch the Better Me Academy. And the Better Me Academy will be a series of events, and you'll hear from these speakers again, where it'll be a 4-week series that will hold in the winter, spring, and early fall. We also hope to hold other events during that time too. And lastly, so we talked about vision boards, and there are different types of vision boards, but I also wanted to share, there's a vision board kit that I took a look at recently, and it's actually created by our own Alicia Crutchfield McLean. It is the Style Wise Vision Board Kit, and it's an opportunity for you to visualize your plans and activate your goals. When you download the 5 commitments worksheet, there's a link there where you can purchase the Style Wise Vision Board Kit. And Alicia has graciously provided a discount for our guests, a 20% discount code, and the code is confidence. So you can use that code to purchase your vision board kit. And that is it, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me in this journey. Thank you. I'm going to give some quick shout outs to some names that I saw. So to many of my family and friends of friends that joined us, thank you so much. First, I want to thank my husband because it's such a blessing to have someone who is great with IT, because Lord knows I don't know that stuff. And he made sure that we were correct today because I was so nervous about, my computer clonking out. So thank you, Ron. And I know you're watching me. So thank you, baby. I appreciate you. Thank you so much to all of my guests again for being here. Shout out to Shannon, Nia Alamad. Shout out to my bestie, Barbara Hernandez. Shout out to my besties, El Barkham, Cherie, Sarita. Who else do we have here? Cherie Shedrick, my girl from Temple University. Andrea Ferguson, it's so great to see you. My cousin, Maria Birdie. Fabiola St. Fort. My girl, Shannon Tinsley. Olga Bradley, thank you for your comments and your questions. Jaslyn, hi Jaslyn. Jaslyn, I think she had a question earlier, Wendy. She wanted to know if you loved her, and I'm sure you do. To Manny Forjour, thank you so much for joining us. To my girl, Kaisha Brooks, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, there goes the comments. So you better answer, Jaslyn, Wendy. Who else do we have here? I think that's about it. And you, Celine, I think I saw you here as well. So glad to see you here. And again, thank you. Thank you so much for your comments. Please download the worksheet now. And I would love to see those photos. I would love to see the signed declarations. Also, even with your vision boards, tag us. When you do work on the vision boards, tag us. We'd love to see it. You can send it to me. You can email it to me. Take a picture, email it to me at coachingbyosa@thegiftagency.com. Logic, thank you to my producer. Thank you so much. I am known, and Sarita will joke about this. Like, I will pop up with something like 10 days before, like, all right, we got to get this going. And, Ritzy Bitsy, how are you? And thank you so much for understanding my vision and just moving forward with it. Thank you for being available to do this. And that's it. It's a wrap. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your Saturday. I am about to go tear up some food and my sweet potato pie.
That's a clean.
I said the difference between you and I is I'll palpate the BMI. Took the heart for problems before I get involved and try to solve my problems. I got time on my hands, but talking you off a ledge was never part of my plan. Listen, and I'm the old far away. Not my problem. Replace the thought with the fact that we're both okay. Consider this. Oh, those romantics and lefty, those synapses, those energies. And now the word was spoken, and now with silence unbroken. Always the same lane, same ocean, but not frank. Like Drake with all his woes. I said the difference between you and I is I'll palpate the BMI. Check the heart for problems before I get involved and try to solve my problems. Cause I got time on my hands, but talking you up the ledge was never part of my plan. And I'm the old far away. Not my problem. Replace the thought with the fact that we're both okay. Don't get me wrong, I'm not looking for a body with no baggage. It's savage. I'm talking about zipping out on the people that don't unpackage their grief. Your presence is their relief. What they need when they weak is some wisdom. Focus on fixing your mantra. What's repeated inside your skull will come back into haunt ya. Or it may come back, motivate and taunt ya. Written in the conscience. It echoes. That's why I spit phronesis. The lyrical literature leaving my lips is a thesis. I'm making sure that if you listen and you learning too. Cause every lesson that I've learned is the goopy clue. Release this philosophy. If using my discography means every penny earned and every penny that's got to me. Whether lump sum or residual from royalty is getting bequeathed to all members of my family. The difference between you and I is I'll palpate the BMI. I said the difference between you and I is I'll palpate the BMI. Release my hindsight. It's got astigmatism, but my foresight. It's 1080p, it's HD, it's the LED illuminated. I'm too backlit. Replace my hindsight. It's got astigmatism, but my foresight. It's 1080p, it's HD, it's the LED illuminated. I'm too backlit. The difference between you and I. The difference between you and I.
That's a clean.
Is I palpate the BMI.